When you think about advising your children on a career with so much that is changing, what do you tell them is going to be of value?
What the development of superintelligence could do to my children's future.
It seems like all of us are in a really tough spot with AI. And man, honestly, the more I think about it, I don't really know what jobs are going to exist in 5 to 10 years. If AI replaces all of our jobs, what will be left for our kids? And honestly, what does life even mean if we're not useful anymore? If we no longer are defined by what we produce and what jobs we work? But here's the thing, there's still hope, and there always has been hope. And that hope is found in Jesus. And that's what we're going to go ahead and analyze deeper in this video. Jumping into the first video here, it reads, Godfather of AI, I tried to warn them, but we've already lost control. And the guy being interviewed here is Geoffrey Hinton. Many people refer to him as the godfather of AI, so he's pretty knowledgeable about this topic. Let's go ahead and dive into it.
Humanoid robots show up. In such a world where there is mass joblessness, which is not something that you just predict, but this is something that Sam Altman at OpenAI, I've heard him predict, and many of the CEOs, Elon Musk, I watched an interview which I'll play on screen of him being asked this question. And it's very rare that you see Elon Musk silent for 12 seconds or whatever it was.
Right.
And then he basically says something about he actually is living in suspended disbelief, i.e. he's basically just not thinking about it.
When you think about advising your children on a career with so much that is changing, what do you tell them is going to be of value?
Dude. Okay. When somebody of a top tech company is that silent, and maybe this is just Elon Musk, this is how he is, but like still.
That is a tough question to answer. I would just say, to sort of follow their heart in terms of what they find interesting to do or fulfilling to do. I mean, if I think about it too hard, it frankly can be dispiriting and demotivating. Because I go through,
So that should tell you everything you need to know here. Like, he doesn't even really have an answer, right? And he's pretty involved, right, with Grok. Like, he has his own, essentially, AI company, and it's pretty big. A lot of people use it. It's scary to see that somebody who knows quite a lot about this technology is so uncertain about it, even in the context of his own kids. So there's definitely a lot of weight behind this. It's very, very scary stuff.
I've put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into building the companies, and then I'm like, wait, well, should I be doing this? Because if I'm sacrificing time with friends and family that I would prefer but then ultimately the AI can do all these things. Does that make sense? I don't know. To some extent, I have to have deliberate suspension of disbelief in order to remain motivated. So I guess I would say just, work on things that you find interesting, fulfilling, and that contribute some good to the rest of society.
Yeah, a lot of these threats, it's very hard to, intellectually you can see the threat, but it's very hard to come to terms with it emotionally.
Yeah.
I haven't come to terms with it emotionally yet.
What do you mean by that?
I haven't come to terms with what the development of superintelligence could do to my children's future.
Oh, man. Dude, that's not good, right? This is the guy who, practically founded even the theory and sort of concepts surrounding AI, and he's even not sure for his own grandkids what will even be left for them in a world where, and granted, he is talking about super intelligence, but even then, like even if you consider general intelligence, and for those of you who don't know, it's essentially an AI that can do majority, if not pretty much any human tasks that exists, right? Super intelligence being it exceeds even human intelligence. This is scary stuff to think about. And if people derive their value only from their work, what will be left for them? And it's a very valid point they bring up. It's a very valid fear that these people have, myself included, by the way. I don't even know what I would do for even my own job. And the same is probably true for a lot of you watching this video. It's very scary to confront this. Anyways, jumping back into it here.
I'm okay. I'm 77. I'm going to be out of here soon. But for my children and my younger friends, my nephews and nieces and their children, I just don't like to think about what could happen.
Why?
Because it could be awful.
In what way?
Well, if I ever decided to take over, it would need people for a while to run the power stations until it designed better analog machines to run the power stations. There's so many ways it could get rid of people, all of which would, of course, be very nasty.
Do I even need to comment on that? Like there's essentially so many ways that it could just end us, right? Like that is not good.
Is that part of the reason you do what you do now?
Yeah. I think we should be making a huge effort right now to try and figure out if we can develop it safely.
Are you concerned about the midterm impact potentially on your nephews and your kids in terms of their jobs as well.
Yeah, I'm concerned about all that.
Are there any particular industries that you think are most at risk? People talk about the creative industries a lot and it's sort of knowledge work. They talk about lawyers and accountants and stuff like that.
Yeah, so that's why I mentioned plumbers. I think plumbers are less at risk.
Okay, I'm going to become a plumber.
Someone like a legal assistant, a paralegal, they're not going to be needed for very long.
And is there a wealth inequality issue here that will arise from this?
Yeah, I think in a society which shared out things fairly, if you get a big increase in productivity, everybody should be better off. But if you can replace lots of people by AI, then the people who get replaced will be worse off, and the company that supplies the AIs will be much better off, and the company that uses the AIs. So it's going to increase the gap between rich and poor.
It's good to know. Yep. Go full throttle ahead then. That's a good idea. Because we all know that these companies, when they have all this power, they will, of course, use it for good, right? No, right? They're not going to. Like, unfortunately, right? I don't mean to be super doomsday about it, but I mean, it's scary because we all know. Think about the quality that they'll just easily sacrifice on all the products and services they provide if it means they get to triple or quadruple their profit margins, right? And all it will cost them is just laying off everybody. Think about how much shareholder value gets maximized when you lay off 75% of your company. It's just scary stuff, dude. Scary stuff. Sorry.
We know that if you look at that gap between rich and poor, that basically tells you how nice a society is. If you have a big gap, you get very nasty societies in which people live in walled communities and put other people in mass jails. It's not good to increase the gap between rich and poor. Yeah, that's the problem. I mean, if AI can make everything much more efficient and get rid of people for most jobs, or have a person assisted by AI doing many, many people's work, it's not obvious what to do about it.
Universal basic income, give everybody money.
Yeah, I think that's a good start, and it stops people starving. But for a lot of people, their dignity is tied up with their job. I mean, who you think you are is tied up with you doing this job, right?
Yeah.
And if we said, we'll give you the same money just to sit around, that would impact your dignity.
You said something earlier.
Yeah, no, I'll link to the rest of the video here. It's a good video, so you can see it in the pinned comment down below. But I mean, he kind of wraps it up right there perfectly in saying, man, if you're just paid to do nothing, where is this purpose now that has been taken from you? What do you do now, knowing that everything you used to do is just not there anymore, right? There's no more job for you to find that fulfillment in. That's a tough one to wrestle with, for sure. And so leading kind of off this video, right? What if God's plan was to allow AI to destroy the system that we have so thoroughly throughout our life, right? The system that we go to school, we get good grades, we do a good job, we work hard, we go this normal, standard, traditional career path, go to college, you know, the whole thing, right? And what if we've placed more trust in that system than we have God? What if God's responding to this by breaking that system in front of us to show us that he's more valuable than the security we find in our job, than the security we find in a paycheck that we get every 2 weeks? And so a verse I really want to focus on that I think addresses this problem really thoroughly is found in Ecclesiastes 2, verses 10 through 11. It reads, I denied myself nothing my eyes desired. I refused my heart no pleasure. My heart took delight in all my labor, and this was the reward for all my toil. Yet when I surveyed all that my hands had done, and what I had toiled to achieve, everything was meaningless, a chasing after the wind. Nothing was gained under the sun. And to kind of provide some brief context here, Solomon was a king of Israel after David, super powerful. It was actually during his reign, Israel became the most powerful it had ever become in that time. They expanded immensely. He had immense wealth. I mean, there wasn't really anything he didn't have access to. Like, he was living a very lavish, comfortable life. With that said, what AI is doing right now in replacing everything we built, it's exposing what Solomon realized 3,000 years ago. Even if you achieve everything you dreamed of, it's still meaningless if your soul isn't anchored in something eternal. We built entire lives around this idea that work gives us value. Our careers became our identity, and now AI is stripping that away. It's forcing us to face the same truth Solomon already knew. It was all chasing the wind. This prioritization of choosing our career above everything else, choosing our job, that everything we do is just a series of paychecks. We're just paying our debts, paying our bills. We're fulfilling our obligation in society. We're fulfilling our role. But you were meant for so much more than this, right? God gave you such a better purpose and mission in life, and you'll never know it unless you put him first. And so many people, maybe not so many people, I don't know, But people watching this video, right, whoever you are, God has such a good plan for your life, and you'll only know it if you're willing to surrender everything that you put first, especially including your job and everything that you choose to be more valuable than God. How many of us have chosen to make money more valuable than God? How many of us have chosen to make our job and our career and our title and this prestige we get by, working these jobs 80 hours a week or 60 hours a week? We choose to put that above everything God has given us, everything God has done for us. We put that on the back burner and say, God, the job that I do, the work that I do, it's more valuable than what you did for me or anything that you could have for me. I'm going to trust myself more than you. And I think what AI is doing is stripping that idea away. It's saying, actually, your work was never valuable to begin with. And it's not because work itself isn't good. It's to say that work is only valuable if we do what we do for God and glorify what he's done for us. And the biggest point of all of this to understand is that Solomon didn't write Ecclesiastes to depress us, right? He wrote it to break this illusion, to wake us up, to make us realize that if your worth is tied to what you produce, to your title, to what you do at your work, day in and day out, what AI is revealing is that we're always one technological breakthrough away from losing all of that in a heartbeat. And even more so, if your worth is in Christ, it can't be touched. That's the point. If we put our value in who God says we are, if our identity is in this idea that we are made in the image of God, then nothing AI does will touch us. Nothing AI does in removing all of our jobs and doing all these really scary things that we see these people say with immense power, it won't be able to touch what God has formed, that we will be untouchable. That's the point. There's freedom and there's hope in Jesus Christ. And if you haven't placed your hope in Jesus, if you haven't surrendered, there's always still a chance for you. Know that your job is not the end all be all, but Jesus is. Jesus even said he's the beginning and the end. And it should be said that AI isn't taking our jobs to destroy us. God may be allowing it to destroy our idols. Maybe we've made work and what we provide for society into this idol that we value more than God. And maybe God's now saying, you know what? I'm going to break that in this world that has placed immense value on social status and class and what you produce and your job title and your profession and your skill set and your resume and your college degree and your master's degree and your bachelor's degree. All these things are nothing. Right? That's not to insult you. That's not to make you feel bad. It comes from a point of immense compassion. Like, man, I have a degree too, right? Like I spent the money. I went the distance as so many of us probably watching this video have. And in an instant, all of that can be worthless. And that's why I'm encouraging everyone watching this video, man, place your faith in Jesus, not in a job, not in a title, not in your LinkedIn page. Dude, like let those things go. That's not going to give you value. That's not going to give you the fulfillment you're looking for. It never will. That fulfillment you're looking for is only found in Jesus. And as we wind down this video, I want to give you a moment to, if there's been anything impactful in this video or anything that has come to your heart or your mind, man, please leave it down below in the comments. Let me know what you thought. If you could, share this video, like it, subscribe if you want to see more of this type of stuff. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch it. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. God bless.